welcome if it is your first time here. This is my channel where I talk all about life, homeschooling, and how to run a business while homeschooling at the same time like I do. So I've been gone for like a couple of weeks, probably more like a month to be honest, and it's been so crazy, you guys, and a couple of major things happened in our family home life here that kind of just turned my little world upside down like a snow globe. So let's go over some of the things that happened and how I continued to homeschool through the majority part of what was going on. So if you're new here, I run a handmade business out of my home. This is my home office here, and I do this full time with my husband now, and we run everything out of our home and we homeschool on top of it. So to say that we're a little bit busy is really an understatement, but we really enjoy it and we have figured out kind of how to balance the two. But let's be honest, life happens sometimes, and really the whole month of August and most of September have just been crazy. So my husband was active duty in the Marine Corps and he just recently retired. So that was a big transition for us, and the weeks leading up to it were really busy, and the transition period from active duty to retire was a little bit difficult, and really it screwed up the whole flow of the house. And sometimes when big things happen like that, it can be difficult to kind of keep the same routine. So I have a couple of things on how I kind of manage when big life change happens, but we still need to get school done. So on top of that, Hurricane Durian was about to hit Florida. So I had family down in Florida, my mom and my grandparents, and they decided they wanted to come up and see us and spend some time with us since they needed to flee the hurricane. Well, if anybody paid attention or if you live on the East Coast, you know that Hurricane Durian kind of took this last minute turn up the East Coast, and I live off the East Coast of North Carolina. So that didn't turn out too well for them. So while they were here for a couple of days, we got to spend some time together and it was really nice, but a hurricane was coming. So we at the last minute had to get some supplies. Luckily we still had quite a stash left over, but we had to instantly prepare for that. And then my mom had to take my grandparents and drive back down to Florida as well. So we had that going on. And then, I'm not even kidding, one of my big pieces of equipment here was down and we couldn't figure out what was going on. We had to suspend some of our production, and it just got crazy, and the store got really, really backed up with orders, and it was hard to manage that. And then if that wasn't enough, I ended up in the hospital twice. I got very sick, and I'm hoping that I can share some of that with you guys maybe later on, but right now it's a very personal matter and we're not sure what exactly is going on. So I'm actually heading back to the doctor this week, and hopefully we'll find a solution or something to go off of and that we can move forward so I don't get sick again. But I did end up in the hospital once right before the hurricane hit and once right after because I was very dehydrated and I couldn't keep any food down. So it has been quite a time trying to recover from this, getting technicians out here to fix our equipment, and then getting caught up on all of this and integrating my husband into this new transition of life that we are going through. So we're in this new stage of life right now, and my husband has always kind of helped me in my office, but he's never actually worked in the office with me side by side. So I've been training him on equipment and showing him how to use things, showing him how to use programs, but we still got to homeschool on top of all of that. So what do you do when the storms of life hit and things are kind of a mess, but you know you still need to homeschool? Well, I have two things that really help me out here, and I've gone over this in several other videos, but I'm going to show you how I applied it to a real life situation in this video. So, first, we have huge transition going on, right? And one of the things that I do is I homeschool year round. And yes, you can do this with, I think, virtually any curriculum, unless they have a time constraint where they say you have to do this curriculum like an online maybe, or a K-12 within this date to this date. Any other curriculum, really, you can apply this to. I haven't come across one that I wasn't able to do this with. You just have to get out a calendar and say, okay, I have 12 months out of the year. This is my start date and this is my end date, and I homeschool year round. And it has saved me so many times. And this was one of those times that homeschooling year round really helped me. I know a lot of parents are just getting started in their homeschool year right about this time or within the last several weeks. We already had 9 weeks under our belt when this storm hit. So that really helped me because I didn't have that feeling like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? We just started. I already had 9 weeks. I had a whole semester underneath my belt when all of this hit. So I didn't really feel too behind or like I needed to rush to get back into the swing of things. Another thing that I do is I look at our schedule, I look at all the curriculum that we have. And what I had planned on doing, if I hadn't gotten sick, was I was actually going to homeschool during the hurricane. The hurricane was supposed to hit for 24, 48 hours. And yes, I was going to homeschool during the hurricane. And if we lose power, we have these awesome, LED lanterns that are fantastic as far as lighting. That's something that is totally doable. And you know what? When something like that is going on outside, especially when you have little kids and maybe they've never gone through something like that before and it's scary, having something familiar and having that routine actually kind of helps them cope mentally with what's going on outside the house. So just kind of keep that in mind as well. And I actually know friends who did school during the hurricane. So yes, this is totally doable and you can do it. Now here is something else too. When things are crazy, and I mean crazy, a lot of times what I like to do is I cut out all extras. So all the electives, all the optional things, I drop them and we go back to basics and we do language, math, science, history. And I do the big four and I say, okay, as long as we get these major 4 things done, then we're okay. And I also typically throw in Bible and reading if we have time for that. And Bible we always do first anyway, so that's out of the way first thing. So take a look at what you're actually schooling with and just know that you don't have to do all those electives every day. You don't have to do your loop schedule things. You can go back to basics and condense your school day down by about 50% just by cutting out some of the optional things. You can always make that up later, or if you have to do something like a doctor's appointment. I have to go to the doctor on Wednesday and I'm going to be there for quite a while because they are actually allergy testing my son that morning as well because he's allergic to peanuts, and they're going to start actually trying to build up an immunity with him and see how he reacts. We need to kind of judge and gauge his reaction to actual peanuts. So we're going to be sitting in the hospital for quite a while between my appointment and his appointment. So what I plan on doing is, because our appointments are so early in the morning, we're going to school later in the afternoon after we get home, depending on how he's feeling, and we're probably just going to do the big 4. And that's totally okay with me because you know what? I still have 2 other days during the week where I can throw in those electives or I can make it up somewhere else in my schedule. But don't feel like you have to do everything every day. And I think that that's something that new homeschool moms really feel the pressure for. So don't feel that pressure, guys. You can actually cut it down and go back to basics. So that's my big tip for when life just seems overwhelming. Go back to basics and really look at your schedule. See if you can stretch it out a couple more months. And if you can, do it. It's one of those things I have never regretted since we started. I really enjoy it, and it's helped me out in quite a few instances, and this was the first time where it was just like, it was my lifesaver. It was my life preserver because I didn't feel that rush. And right now, being Monday, we're getting right back into everything, and I just feel like we're finally kind of getting back on our feet again, and I don't feel pressure. And that you cannot put a price tag on, because when mom is stressed, everybody's stressed. So now everybody's calm, and we're just gonna go right back into our schedule. So I missed you guys. I'm really glad to be back. I'm gonna try to get some more videos up, but just give me a little grace while we kind of get back on our feet and everything. I'm hoping to put out at least 2 videos a week right now, but remember, just give me a little bit of grace. If you have any ideas for some videos, if you have any questions, drop them down below. I would love to have some ideas for new videos and new content that I can help you guys out with. All right, so I will see you guys later, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.